Oh my goodness, that was so delightful. Good morning, everyone. My name is Danice Cabanela, and my pronouns are she, her. Good morning. Buenos dias. And welcome to the First Unitarian Universalist Church of San Antonio. Our weekly worship is where we connect, share information, and inspiration. My name is Danice, and I became a member here with my husband and son just last year during the summer. We moved back to San Antonio. I grew up here and have been away for 18 years, and it's really, really good to be back and plug into the community here and see all of your faces. Our minister, Reverend Kalani Kachela, is out this Sunday, and he will return on February 8th. Our faith is all-inclusive, and all means all. We strive to enact a universal love that binds us in mutual care and affection, especially in our work for justice, for our planet, and all its people. We recognize that our ancestors came from many different homelands, and we acknowledge that we gather here in the homeland of the Cualtecan people, called Yanaguana. They have lived here for 8,000 years, yet still struggle for rights over their sacred heritage sites. If you are new to us or visiting for the first time today, we welcome you to fill out a visitor's card. We'd like to get to know you and follow up with you. If you're visiting, we invite you to rise as you are able or wave a hand so that we can see you and express our appreciation for your presence. Welcome, welcome. For our friends and visitors who are sympathetic with our values of love, compassion, community, and justice, and who are interested in membership, please speak with our greeter, our minister, or any member. All of us are here to help you know that you belong in this community, just as I have felt when I came the first time. People came to me and helped me feel welcome. Hi, waving again. And that means a lot. So please don't be afraid to say hi, we're here. We have a membership book that you need to sign and a new member orientation, and we'd love to share with you. Each Sunday, we greet one another so that we might know who is journeying with us. Please take this moment to turn to one another and greet your travel companions.
That to look forward to. Let's hope so.
Good morning. I've often wondered how to get that kind of energy and connection and just let it ride for a while. Because I suspect we could all probably spend an hour doing that on a Sunday morning, just saying hi to each other. My name is Tim Versteeg. My pronouns are he, him. It is my absolute pleasure to be the Director of Lifespan Religious Education at this church, and have been for, thank you. And I am doubly pleased today, and I told him I was going to do this but not make him stand up, to have my son Simon from Canada in the back. So don't mob him, but yeah, I'm really glad he's here. We'd have a wonderful visit. He flies back tomorrow. Our opening words are from a collection of meditations by Catherine McTeague called Shine and Shadow. And this is a reading called This Place is Sanctuary. You who are brokenhearted, who woke today with the winds of despair whistling through your mind, come in. You who are brave but wounded, limping through life and hurting with every step, come in. You who are fearful, who live with shadows hovering over your shoulders, come in. This place is sanctuary, and it is for you. You who are filled with happiness, whose abundance overflows, come in. You who walk through your world with lightness and grace, who awoke this morning with strength and hope, you who have everything to give, come in. This place is your calling, a riverbank to channel the sweet waters of your life, the place where you are called by the world's need. Here we offer in love. Here we receive in gratitude. Here we make a circle from the great gifts of breath, attention, and purpose. Come in. Our opening hymn is number 361. Surprise, enter, rejoice, and come in.
I invite you all to join us in our covenant. We are called as Unitarian Universalists to build the beloved community, and where all are welcome.
Oh, hang on. Nope.
It's my first time.
Start with love as the doctrine of this church.
Yes.
Where are we going?
Right there. Thank you. Right there. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest of truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve humanity in fellowship, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the divine. Thus do we covenant with each other. El amor es la doctrina de esta iglesia. Su sacramento es la búsqueda de la verdad, y su oración es el servicio. Convivir en paz, buscar sabiduría en libertad, dar a la humanidad nuestro servicio fraternal, para que todas las almas crezcan en armonía con la divinidad. Así pactamos el uno con el otro.
So now is the time in our service when we do our stone ceremony. Unitarian theologian from, oh, yeah, there's that thing. Okay, hang on. Sorry. We're going to do our chalice lighting, and I have a chalice lighting in one of these books, and I will find it. You just wait. We light our chalice to enter into sacred space every Sunday morning, and our chalice lighting words this morning are from Alan G. Deal. The light of this chalice is a frail thing. It can be snuffed out by the winds of cynicism and apathy. May its little flame be a reminder of the power of the Spirit. Let us rededicate ourselves to providing light that lifts our hearts and increases the world's joy. Thanks, Denise. And now we are going to do our stone ceremony. Now is the time in our service when we do our stone ceremony. James Luther Adams, who was a Unitarian theologian from the 20th century once described Unitarianism as 5 smooth stones, taking a metaphor from the Old Testament. Today, as we consider things we believe to be true here in this place, and as you take a stone, I'd like you to consider its color, its shape, its texture, and to celebrate the plurality and the diversity held by the different stones. So please come forward for the stone ceremony. We have a number of readings in our Book of Life today. Prayers and compassion for all those dealing with the complexities and heartaches of dementia, your own or loved ones. Grateful for all of our UU friends and others in community who protested at Dilley on Wednesday, including my 87-year-old mom, Dora, who is out there. Way to go, Dora. We're glad she is with us this morning, Ruth Bajanda Moore. Bahanda, I gotta get that J. It'll happen, I promise. Turtle here, I'm glad to be back home, and I love you guys so much. We're glad you're here, Turtle. Yeah. Happy birthday to the best grandma a girl could ever ask for. I love you so much, and I suspect that, yeah. Stand up. And happy 40th birthday to Gareth Evans. Oh. You see, this was what I was slipping on because you didn't put Grandma's name down and I drew a blank. Happy birthday, Natalie. Yeah, you're loved by a lot of people because you're in the book twice. After 57 years in my yellow brick home, I will move this week to a retirement home, but I am a UU forever. I know my name. Working to maintain optimism through all the ugly parts right now. Happy to have this community to lean on, and sure it will all get better. Amen. Danice would like to share a few words about a very special person she knew.
As I mentioned at the beginning of the service, I have been away from San Antonio for a long time. After I graduated high school here, I went to the University of Minnesota in Minneapolis. And yes, very cold, very cold. And I lived on the same floor in the same dorms as Alex Preddy. He dated my friend Carly and lived next door to my friend Trevor, who also grew up here in San Antonio. And what I am seeing on all sides is just wild. I'm seeing the truth of who he was, which is that he was and always will be an incredible human being. It does not surprise me at all that his last words were, "Are you okay?" When our friend Felix, when his brother committed suicide the first year of college, he was really there for our friend. He walked with him Monday, Wednesday, Friday to class. He checked in on me when I was having a hard time because I didn't know if I wanted to stay in Minneapolis. He was just a really good person. And as heartbreaking as it is to see what is happening, I am also glad to see everyone galvanized, to see that he was an incredible human. He strongly believed in what's written on money, e pluribus unum, out of many, one. If enough people are doing good, it takes just one person to tip the scales. Did anyone see what he named his dog? Joule, Joule. The unit of electricity for the heart. And I say this with the utmost love and affection that he was the nerdiest nerd. The heart is the strongest generator of electromagnetic activity. It's the most powerful force in the universe, and he knew that. Please continue to be out there and stand up and fight for this country, because we really are at a turning point. And if you can help Alex's family and everyone who knew him just spread how amazing he was, I know that will really help. Thank you.
Our meditation words are from a book written during COVID called Shelter in This Place. It's a collection of meditations edited by Meg Riley, who's a Unitarian minister. After I read the meditation, we'll have a period of silence just to reflect a little, and then we come out of the silence. It's called Murski Tule, which is Finnish for The Storm Comes, by Manish Mishra Marzetti. The storm comes, churning all that has been in its path, washing away the molted husks of shrimplings, and in its place tossing wood, seaweed, and feathers carelessly onto the shore. I sit amidst the debris, an observer, as that which has also been churned, because truly nothing has been untouched. My nation, my community, me, myself, all of us turned inside out. Centuries, if not millennia, of conquest and domination in the name of being a favored people, exposed like wreckage, lying naked in the sand, many look away. The lies that have been written, histories and mythos bleeding into one, conflated national epics and self-perception, mask an insecurity that no modest reform will heal. The lies that have been believed, that we have taught others, perpetuating harm so profound that a whole life's work can feel like nothing. Easier to deny for some that there is a storm. After all, don't all storms eventually pass? So ephemeral, so temporary. I sit with the flotsam, yearning for the illusion of order that preceded upheaval, but this is not that time. I am part of the ecosystem that gave us the lies, and I have also been a harbinger of the storm. I sit now in its wake, looking fully at the myths and untruths laid bare. That which feels ugly, churned, and in disarray holds the promise of new life. Blessed be. And I don't have to introduce myself, but I've already done that. But it is time for my friends to come forward for a story this morning. So if I can get the young and young at heart to join me up here, we will talk about the riddle of the elephant. Good morning, Zoe. Good morning. Everybody wants to come up? Okay. So once upon a time, as all good stories start, there wasn't a large city. And it doesn't really matter where it was. It doesn't really matter when it was. But in that city was this brilliant woman who'd been elected to be mayor. But the city she was in was having some problems. because as mayor, what she wanted to do was she wanted to lead the people and help them decide what would make the most people safe, happy, and healthy. Because isn't that what we really want people who are leading us to do, right? Unfortunately, in this city, a lot of people were disagreeing about a lot of stuff, about what the best ways to live were. And instead of just accepting each other, they started to argue. So, some of the stuff they couldn't agree upon. They couldn't decide whether chocolate or vanilla or strawberry was the best ice cream. And they started to shout at each other, and nobody would listen to the other side. And then there were other people who would argue that baseball was the best sport ever and nothing else should be played, while others said that football was the best. And you know what? There were even a few that thought hockey was the best. So everybody argued about what was true and right and said that their way was the only way that people should live and the only thing that should be believed. You know what? They even argued about which way you should hang a roll of toilet paper, front or back. Bad things were starting to happen. People yelled at each other and made threats. Walls were starting to divide the city, and secret passwords were adopted by each group to show that they belonged to the people who knew the right way to do things. But at gates through the city streets, people would know the right password or make the right hand gesture, and these gates would open and then close. And there was even some doorways and some gates that were designed so that people of a certain height couldn't enter. It was becoming insane. So when all that was happening, nothing was getting done. People were starting to ignore the things that really needed doing. Crops weren't being harvested. Potholes and roads weren't fixed. No one wanted to work with anyone who didn't totally agree with them. And on all details to live, toilet paper, ice cream, whatever. They wanted to make sure that the people they were working with were doing it the right way. Nothing got done. So the mayor knew that if she let all of this division keep going, no one would ever trust each other again. And nothing would ever get fixed in the city. And the common goal of keeping people safe, healthy, and happy wouldn't be reached because everyone would just be building higher walls, and smaller and smaller and smaller spaces. So the mayor had an idea. Because there was a great zoo in this city. And what do you think was in that zoo? An elephant, you got it. There was a great elephant who had lots of room to move around and lots of food to eat and was given plenty of love by its keepers. So the mayor asked the zookeeper if they could bring the elephant to the city square where it was dark and put a large curtain around it. And the zookeepers, of course, agreed. They liked the mayor. And they were running out of elephant food because none of the crops had been harvested. So they brought the elephant to the city square, and at the same time, the mayor asked a bunch of leaders from all these little communities to join her in the square in the morning. So the chocolate leader came, and the toilet paper at the back leader came, and the vanilla leader came, and even the hockey leader came, crazily enough. And she said to all these leaders who were around the curtain that the elephant was hiding behind, I've got a test for you. The one who can give me the right answer is going to be able to make up and decide all the rules we're going to use in the city about everything forever, if you get the right answer. And they all said, great, yeah, I can figure it out, Chocolate's the best and I'm the best, or, vanilla's the best. I can figure this out. So when she got there, she put a blindfold on each of the leaders. making sure that they weren't able to see. So it's not like when you play a game and you peek through the blindfold. She made sure that wasn't going to happen. One by one, each of the leaders was led into a curtain and guided to touch a part of the elephant by the zookeeper before they were let out again. And when everyone had a turn, one by one, they were asked what was behind the curtain. And the first one that was asked said they thought there was an enormous snake behind the curtain. What do you think that person would? Yeah, what do you, go ahead. The trunk, right. Another said there's a large cauldron behind the curtain. It could have been the belly, yeah. And it was the belly. And a third said that behind the curtain, there was a large brush. What do you think, Zoe?
I think it was like the bottom of the tail.
The tail, yep, yeah, right. You got it. And another one said, it's a spear. The tusk, you got it. Finally, somebody said, it's a wall. Yeah, the back or the side, yeah. That's right, Lila. And finally, the last person she asked said, it's a fan. The ear, yeah. And the mayor asked the zookeeper to pull back the curtain, and all the participants were amazed at the magnificent elephant in front of them. She calmly said to them all, none of us know everything, and we all approach problems from different places and in different ways. We can only see the whole truth about something if we listen carefully to each other, learn from them, and put all the pieces together. Only then is the entirety of the truth revealed. Today we're talking about the truth and what we call theology about how we live and why we live that way and how that's developed in Unitarian Universalism. So I have a few activities that Jason's gonna help do at the back there. And there's 3 things that you can head back there and be a part of. One is we have the elephant of theology to illustrate and color in and work on. And remember, we're talking about an elephant that contains many sorts of different things. So if you want to put polka dots on the elephant, you go put polka dots on the elephant. It's a nice big picture. Yeah, go ahead. There's no playground today, so this is your option. But it was a good question. It's kind of cold out there anyway. The other thing is and this is for the adults too, at the back there's what I'm calling a winding wall of UU theology, and it's basically Jenga blocks. And I've already written on some of the Jenga blocks a number of different things that may or may not be a part of your version of what it is to be here in this church and in this community. I've started by putting the blocks out that are our new shared values. And there are a number of blocks already that have writing on them of different aspects. You can choose which ones you think go on the wall, or there are a number of blank blocks. If you think something's missing, you can write it down and add it to our wall of theology, our winding wall of theology. And finally, for those of you who just want to put a puzzle together, the puzzle that is what we're doing, there's a butterfly puzzle back there too that's ready to be worked on. So at this point, you can join your parents, you can go to the back, but there is no playground.
Today's reading is an excerpt from William Channing Gannett's Things Commonly Believed Among Us from 1887. We believe that to love the good and live the good is the supreme thing in religion. We hold reason and conscience to be final authorities in matters of religious belief. We honor the Bible and all inspiring scripture, old and new. We revere Jesus and all holy souls that have taught men truth and righteousness and love as prophets of religion. We believe in the growing nobility of man. We trust the unfolding universe as beautiful, beneficent, unchanging order, to know this order is truth, to obey it is right and liberty and stronger life. We believe that good and evil invariably carry their own recompense, no good thing being failure and no evil thing success, that heaven and hell are states of being, that no evil can befall the good man in either life or death, and that all things work together for the victory of good. Bless you. We believe that we ought to join hands and work to make the good things better and the worst good, counting nothing good for self that is not good for all. We believe that this self-forgetting, loyal life awakes in man the sense of union, here and now, with things eternal, the sense of deathlessness, and this sense is to us an earnest of the life to come. We worship one and all, that life, whence suns and stars derive their orbits, and the soul of man its ought, that light which lighteth every man that cometh into the world, giving us power to become the sons of God, that love with whom our souls commune. This one we name the eternal God, our Father.
That's a lot, isn't it? That was 1887, just to draw some attention to it. But there is arguably not a lot of difference between UU theology and the rest of Christianity until the later half of the 19th century. And what differences there were largely doctrinal, arguing about just the Bible and its teachings and what was still the center of our faith tradition. The arguments were about the divinity of Jesus and the repudiation of the Trinity, and an actual church service, if you went in 1887, would still be recognizable as a variation on the Christian melody, and members would have uniformly identified themselves as theists. So I asked Danice to read that passage from William Channing Gannett. I'm just going to get my tongue back in the right place. William Channing Gannett's Things Commonly Believed Among Us from 1887, because it stares Janus-like in both directions in Unitarian history at that point. It was a threshold moment between the past and the future of Unitarian theology and thought, as the evolution that followed happened quickly and would ultimately affect not only Unitarianism, but ultimately Universalism as well. Heresy was not new to our movement. Michael Servetus had been burned at the stake by John Calvin for his beliefs questioning the divinity of Jesus. And had the Roman Catholics caught up with him first, he probably would have had the same fate. Even in the early days of the Reformation, the Unitarians were not claimed by either side of that religious schism. But by the late 19th century, for the first time, the heresies that had long defined our movement turned outward. They not only disagreed with traditional Christianity, but they also suggested that other ideas from other sources be considered equally valid and truthful. And this evolution of ideas radically expanded the scope of the Unitarian theological spectrum. And I use the word evolution both deliberately and as a kind of homage, as Darwin was raised in a Unitarian home, and the origin of species had shaken the very foundations of religious thought at the time. Concurrently, Emerson and the Transcendentalists championed ideas never before explored in anything called a church that had Christian roots. Ideas from Eastern Asia, and especially the translation and distribution of the Bhagavad Gita from the Indian subcontinent, created an explosion of how many different kinds of faith and spirituality might be welcomed under our theological umbrella. Theology, always concerned about how to worship a God in a Unitarian context, instead removed the deist imperative at its core, or at least began to question its necessity. And it replaced it with a willingness to invite a multiplicity of ideas from other religions to influence the responsible search for truth and meaning. Theology became about embodying what the purpose, responsibility, and right actions for Unitarians were in the here and now, choosing to change this world instead of worrying about or debating the existence of a next. And this is the moment Gannett tries to define. Now, this isn't the format here to drag everyone in the room through a step-by-step comparison of Gannett's piece to the two statements in our faith tradition that we are most familiar with, i.e., the principles and sources, and the recently agreed on set of shared values in Article 2 in the UU bylaws. If you want to look at the principles and sources, they're in the front page of your gray hymnal, if you had never noticed that. So it's a good way to reference it. All full truth now, I've been a Unitarian since 2004 or 5. I could never remember the principles and sources. I still can't. I can remember bits and pieces of them and the overall meaning, but this is part of the, we love our lists, we hate our dogma. So I do want to consider the evolution of these documents in broad strokes. Gannett's 1887 argument really does show both the past and prefigure the future. He, as you just heard, mentions a lot of things that sound like traditional Christianity, God and afterlife, Jesus, but at the same time, gestures towards some new ideas that were going to continue to grow and develop for up until the Unitarians and Universalists joined together in 1961 and beyond. Just a quick side note, there was probably a halfway point in all this, and if I was going to go back and do a divinity degree, which doesn't look likely at this stage of my life, I'd also add in the Humanist Manifesto written in Chicago in 1932 and 3 as a part of this evolution, because it was a response to the Scopes monkey trial, which had brought the naturalism versus supernaturalism debate to the national stage here. I did a whole sermon on the Humanist Manifesto a few years ago at my last church, so we definitely don't have time to add that here. But suffice to say that the Humanist Manifesto was signed by a bunch of Unitarian ministers of the time. Gannett does talk about reason and conscience in 1887. And those words pull through in a big way in the fourth and fifth principles in 1961 as a free and responsible search for truth and meaning, and the right of conscience and the use of democratic process. Now, of the latter, I will just add that we are still strongly embodying these principles, even if they've been superseded by our current shared values. And here's a plug for PEG, because the film series currently being co-sponsored by our social justice group and the local Americans United for Separation of Church and State clearly illustrates this. And on Wednesday night, the third and last in the series, we'll be showing the film Inherit the Wind, which is a dramatic retelling of the Scopes monkey trial. See how nicely all the pieces fit together at 11:30 last night? Other things in the 1887 essay point out the growing nobility of man, for instance, a decentering of the divine as the prime mover of good in the universe. And for Gannett, there is still a balance between the Christian ethos and the proto-modern humanist. It's kind of almost half and half what you're getting in that 1887 document. But by the time you use first develop the six of, sorry, let me rephrase that. The first 6 of the principles, which is in 1961, instead of centering Jewish and Christian teachings, as they just put them as one of 6 sources for what we believe, putting it on an equal footing with a range of other traditions and approaches to finding meaning and truth for human beings in the world. By the time we get to the Article 2 revision that's ratified in 2024 at the General Assembly, the expression of faith that supersedes the principles and sources, the shared values, is a distillation of all that has come before it. Although I would argue that, in my opinion, the principles continue to provide the foundation, and if you read Article 2, are part of the explanation and explication of what each of these shared values means. So I just want you to listen for the echoes, because you're probably all really familiar with the principles and the sources if you've been around for a while, but apart from the pretty little illustration of what the new sources are, you may not have read all of Article 2. So I'm just going to read that part of Article 2. I'm not going to drag you through the whole thing. So the first of the new shared values is interdependence. And they explain it this way: we honor the interdependent web of all existence. With reverence for the great web of life and with humility, we acknowledge our place in it. We covenant to protect Earth and all beings from exploitation. We will create and nurture sustainable relationships of care and respect, mutuality and justice. We will work to repair harm and damaged relationships. I hear a lot of the principles in that. I hope you do too. The second of the shared values, pluralism. We celebrate that we are all sacred beings, diverse in culture, experience, and theology. We covenant to learn from one another in our free and responsible search for truth and meaning. We embrace our differences and commonalities with love, curiosity, and respect. The third, justice. We work to be diverse, multicultural, beloved communities where all thrive, and all means all. We covenant to dismantle racism and all forms of systemic oppression. We support the use of inclusive democratic processes to make decisions within our congregations, our association, and society at large. Transformation. We adapt to the changing world. We covenant to collectively transform and grow spiritually and ethically. Openness to change is fundamental to our Unitarian and Universalist heritages, never complete and never perfect. Generosity. We cultivate a spirit of gratitude and hope. We covenant to freely and compassionately share our faith, presence, and resources. Our generosity connects us to one another in relationships of interdependence and mutuality. Equity. We declare that every person has the right to flourish with inherent dignity and worthiness. We covenant to use our time, wisdom, attention, and money to build and sustain fully accessible and inclusive communities. And as you know, from the graphic that is displayed around the campus, inside all of those 6 shared values at the center, displacing both God and man, is love. Here endeth the lesson. Now, the part you've been waiting for. Where does the elephant come in? I think that Unitarian Universalism is like our story today about the elephant behind the curtain. Because while we each arrive here in our own way from different places and enter from different sides of the curtain, we approach the same beast in the dark. And it is a big animal. We can only touch one part of it at a time, and come away with the idea, and sometimes come away with the idea that that's the whole story. The part is the whole. We encounter the idea that revelation is not sealed, and we learn our whole lives long. Some of us, that's what draws us to Unitarianism. Or we come to find a place where the inherent worth and dignity of all people is fundamental and not up for debate. And that was what draws us in. Or we know this is our spiritual home because we are called to work for justice in all its forms, and we see that being done by the groups here. Now, as we become more a part of the community and see the way other people are approaching the elephant, we start to encounter bits and pieces of Unitarian Universalism that are different parts of that whole beast. And the thing we do as UUs is we agree to encompass all of that and hold it as our theology. Because always, at the center of it all, just like at the center of the elephant, is the heart. And that is, of course, why love is at the center of that latest iteration of things commonly believed among us that we call the shared value. Throughout our history, it has been at the center of our theology in all the variations. An expansive love based in compassionate thought, word, and action. Thanks.
It is now time to engage in the spiritual discipline of generosity, which is among the highest of principle of spiritual practices. This community depends upon your giving to thrive and accomplish its mission. Every donation counts and helps us meet our obligations. I invite you to give generously and often. I invite the ushers to come now. The morning's offering will be given and received. Thank you, Jaime. We bless these gifts and we bless the givers. May it be so. Please join us in our closing hymn, number 395, Sing and Rejoice. And this is going to be a round led by a couple of our members here. Yay. Yay. Patty and Mark.
Hello, good morning. Mark's going to get us started. We're all going to go through this together one time, all together. Maybe Jaime give us a slight intro. We'll go through it together. And then Mark will be part one for y'all over there.
Yeah, Jaime's going to give
with the
us
piano.
the melody, and then it's on.
And then we'll be part two over here, okay? All right, okay. We can do it. 4 times all together. All together.
Sing and rejoice, sing and rejoice. Let all things living now sing and rejoice. Sing and rejoice.
Sing and rejoice, sing and rejoice. Let all things living now sing and rejoice. Sing and rejoice.
Let all things living now sing and rejoice.
Sing and rejoice, sing and rejoice, sing and rejoice. Let all things living now sing and rejoice.
Yay.
A+.
Good job, everybody.
Thank you. So as we extinguish our chalice, I want to give you words from Jack Layton, who was the former leader of the New Democratic Party in Canada and tragically passed away while he was in office in 2011. But before he died, he wrote a letter to Canadians outlining the future he hoped for them. And at the end of that letter, the last paragraph was this: "My friends, love is better than anger. Hope is better than fear. Optimism is better than despair. So let us be loving, hopeful, and optimistic, and we will change the world." Go now in peace.